If you have been asking yourself why someone does calisthenics, what the sport is about, and why you maybe should also start with it, and what are the things that you need to consider then you're welcome here, because you found the right video where I tell you about all these things based on my own experience. And I will also go in depth about why I've switched to calisthenics from normal, typical gym training, and also why maybe should you. I will just explain how I trained before, how I train right now, and what are the benefits of calisthenics, also what are not. Then I'll also talk about other stuff. Yes, so I started my training journey around 3 years ago, and I'm doing calisthenics specifically since 1.5 years. So the first 1.5 years of my training, I trained at home with weights, such as with dumbbells, and also in the gym, and my primary focus was just to build muscle and to look better. After already 1.5 years, I started to find my training boring because I was just doing the same thing all over and over again. The only thing that I was changing is that I was just increasing the weight, but I was just doing the same thing over and over again. Of course, my physique has improved, and this is also what I liked about this whole process. But the training itself was so boring, that I just knew that I needed something new, that I needed a new challenge, and this is also one reason why I switched to calisthenics. At that time, so about 1.5 years ago, I was trying many sports such as boxing and tennis, and as I was trying these sports, I realized that I'm very stiff because of all my gym training, bodybuilding training. I was like very stiff. I couldn't move my body that well, even though I stretched at that time. So this was also a reason for me just to start calisthenics, because I wanted to be more mobile and I wanted to control my body weight better. And I also think that right now, and also like this was one of the things that I've realized, I think that the bodybuilding scene is too overhyped on social media. It's being promoted everywhere that you should start with gym training when you're a beginner, and also there are like bodybuilders who call themselves fitness influencers, although they aren't fit because they're just training in the gym and then don't have all the other factors that contribute to them being fit. So yes, and but I don't think that gym training or bodybuilding training is bad, because I mean everyone has different goals. I'm just saying that it's overhyped, but it's not bad. And also even right now, when I have fully committed to calisthenics, right now I'm just training like pure calisthenics. I'm focusing on only skills, so I'm focusing on the front lever and the handstand push-ups, but right now I also combine it with some gym and bodybuilding exercises, so that I have such a complete physique that I also want. So it's all depending on your goals, and gym training isn't bad, but it's just too overhyped. That's my opinion about it. If that also interests you what I have been doing to even start calisthenics, so I mean I had the strength from the gym, but I was still focusing on mastering the basics and spamming them till I was very good at them. And then I began doing weighted calisthenics, so that I improved in basics with weights, so I would be more prepared for skills. And then I started to learn skills like the muscle up. I unlocked it, then I was just doing like also basics, weights and skills at all time. And now I searched for a priority for myself, and I found it, and for me these are the skills. So if you're asking yourself what are the benefits of calisthenics that, for example, I have experienced or I'm also experiencing right now, I will just tell you about it. So I find calisthenics exciting a little bit, because when you're training for skills, you're building up to one skill, and when you achieve it, it's very rewarding. It's like one of the best feelings that you can have, because you've just put so much work in that skill and then you're achieving it. Now it's very rewarding. And also then when you achieve one skill, it becomes a little bit addicting. It's like a video game. You achieved one skill, you achieved one skill of one level, then you want to move on to another skill of another level. So you understand the point, like a little bit addicting, because like a video game. You can also, you can compare it with that. And also with calisthenics I had, and I also having right now goals that are more clear, because with calisthenics I can say like next year I want to achieve this skill and this skill, yes, something like this. And while I was just training for aesthetics, I just said like, I need my bicep to grow bigger, I need my back to be bigger. And I was saying like, when these muscle groups, when they're big enough, I will not need more. But this wasn't the case, because I had body dysmorphia. I said to myself, oh no, this is not enough. And there's also when I was just still doing the same exercises to grow the muscles bigger, and it was like a pointless training for me because I just didn't want bigger muscles. So another very big benefit for me with calisthenics is that I can train it fully at home. I can train for skills fully at home because I do not need that much of equipment. Like the equipment that I have is just a static bar, some elastic bands, parallels maybe, but I do not need them that often. So like just a bar and elastic bands, and that's basically it that I'm using right now for skill training. And even if you're starting out with calisthenics, you do not need any type of equipment. I mean, when you're just starting out doing push-ups, okay, then maybe a pull-up bar for pull-ups, but yeah. So you do not need to drive to the gym. Another big point that I've also mentioned is that I feel much more mobile, I feel much more functional with calisthenics, because even if I don't stretch, yes, so I can move better in everyday life. My strength, my relative strength that I gain in calisthenics can transform itself good to other sports. Yeah, so I can transform this strength well to other sports and or just like I've said, like to everyday life, and I just can move better. I feel better in my own body. That's what I also like about calisthenics. And I just mean, who doesn't want to be able to do cool skills, control your body in every angle possible while having a good physique? That's the question. And of course there are other categories like dynamics with calisthenics, sets and reps. But like I'm talking about skills because also like the skill category one is the most popular one. Yes, and also when we're talking about disadvantages, and for me it's not a disadvantage, and I also hope that for you guys it isn't one, because it just shouldn't be. It's just part of the process, I think, but I will still mention it. And it is that, like, if you train calisthenics, whether it's skills, weighted calisthenics, or just even basics, it could take you a bit longer to learn it all and also to be good in it. But and yeah, overall you will just need more patience and commitment for it than for gym training, because while you're in the gym you already can use all the machines, you already can do all the exercises at the machines, and then you just increase the weight to it. You can directly start with training. It's also worth the effort, because imagine like when you master such calisthenic skills, you will also feel great after all your work that you have put in. And even if you show it to people, people will treat you with respect. Yeah, you will be treated with respect. You will be treated as someone who is a cool guy who can do cool stuff with his own body, and you will just treat with respect. And also guys, at this point, a quick reminder, if you liked the video so far, please like, sub, and also write something nice in the comments. Thank you. Also in calisthenics, if you're training for skills, there are of course skill training plateaus. And if you don't want to hop on it often, you need then to master the basics and be good in basics with weight also. So you really just need to want it. But calisthenics overall will build you a strong mindset. It requires a strong mindset because you just really need to want it all in order to achieve your goals. And this also points back to the point I've made, so that you have clearer goals, and it also builds you a stronger mindset, what is very beneficial for your life. Because for example, in the gym, you can not be 100% concentrated when you're doing like an exercise. You can just sit on the machine and pressing and pulling the weight, and then you're just going to be as strong as last week, or maybe just even stronger. Calisthenics, when you train for skills, you need to have the 100% focus, because if something isn't right, when you're not concentrated enough, when you're not squeezing your fingertips into the floor when you're doing a handstand, for example, then you're not going to have a good handstand. So that's why it requires your full concentration, and this is why also calisthenics gives you a strong mindset. And I know right now that I've told you that calisthenics can be hard and that you need to be very patient for it in order to achieve something, but do not believe the myth that is going around the whole social media that calisthenics isn't beginner friendly. Because on social media you will see content creators and very crazy calisthenics athletes that are doing very crazy skills, and when you're seeing it as a normal person, you think to yourself that you won't achieve these skills in your whole life. But this is just a wrong approach to think. You shouldn't think like that, because that's a weak mindset. You should think that, okay, they are doing the skills, they're very good at them, they have perfect genetics also for it, but it's not impossible for me to achieve it. And I mean, I myself also have hit some plateaus in skill training because, like, for example, on the handstand, I've trained for it and I also quit one time handstand training and I've just came back to it, and now I'm doing better, I'm progressing and everything is good. But there is also a time when I have quitted with handstand training with skill training. Athletes out there that are 2 meters and they're doing like stuff like front levers. They can hold their whole body horizontally to the floor like this with their arms straight. So there's also guys like this. So just do not make excuses for yourself. Do not think that calisthenics is so hard, and just start with it, because you can start with basics. And even if you cannot do a push-up or pull-up or something like this, you can always regress. You can always do, for example, push-ups on your knees or half range of motion pull-ups and stuff like this. So please do not believe that calisthenics is super hard. Of course, it requires your dedication and commitment, like I said, but if you have enough discipline, you will achieve all your goals that you have set to yourself. So in the end, what I want to say with this video is that if you're training in the gym right now and you find it boring and you feel like you need a new challenge, like I've also felt, then start calisthenics. I think it's a very good option for you, very good decision to start calisthenics. And you've heard the benefits that I have mentioned, yeah? And I'm also feeling right now much more better. I liking this sport much more than was doing the normal typical gym training, what became boring for me. So yes, just switch to calisthenics. And also, if you're switching from gym to calisthenics, then you will have some strength that you can use in calisthenics, and then the basics will be easier for you, and also later on the skills. So, but you do not need to fully emancipate yourself from gym training. You can just start with calisthenics by slowly combining gym training with calisthenics, and by implementing exercises like pull-ups and dips to your gym routine. And if you plan on just even starting training, then you can also just start with calisthenics. You can also just start with calisthenics. You do not need the gym strength, the gym requirements for it or something like that. If you have it, it will be a little bit better, a little bit easier for you to learn the basics, and later on the weight calisthenics stuff and the skills and stuff like this. It will be a bit easier, but it does not mean that it's will be super hard for you to even start with calisthenics if you don't have the strength, if you just starting out with training. I mean, you could be very short, you could have perfect genetics also for calisthenics. So yeah, you just need to try it. Train at home. You do not need equipment for everything when you're starting out with calisthenics. If you're just starting out with calisthenics, or even if you're just switching from the gym to calisthenics, then do not be concerned about how you're going to look, because in calisthenics you just focus on your performance. And even if you think that your physique isn't that complete, isn't that good, like what I have also thought, and I also think right now a little bit, then you can implement a little bit the bodybuilding exercises, but then make sure that you're not doing too much out of it, and make sure that you're focusing more on calisthenics, because it's something that you also need to focus more on. And then you can also, like I've said, combine it with some exercises that, I mean, if you want absolute strength and if you want to look and have a little bit of physique, then and to be a more complete athlete with it, then you can combine the elements like I also do right now. Yeah, but everybody has different goals, and for everybody is different. And yeah, guys, so after I've summarized like all the points, and I've said to you, yeah, if you want to start with calisthenics, if you're switching from gym to calisthenics like I also did, you can of course fully do that, and you can also just fully focus on only calisthenics. And why calisthenics is good, I've also taught you this. I've taught you all the benefits. I hope that you've liked it, I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope that you learned something out of it and could relate to my story that I've told to you. At this point, also guys, like, subscribe again, check out my other stuff, and tell me about your training experiences in the comment. That would be very interesting to read. And yeah, say your opinion about the things that I have said. Bye.